Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the general awareness and basically about the medieval history part. Okay. And in the medieval history means okay means that's what I'm talking about. Medieval history. Okay. So in this, I have already told you many times that in the medieval history part, basically we have to cover the several things. Okay. Like the Delhi Sultanate, okay, like the Mughal Empire, okay, like the medieval Indian dynasties, okay. But in addition to all these series, we have a very important topic which is required to be covered in order to catch these all. Okay, because without getting the input from the topic which I'm going to tell you, you will not be able to connect all the factors together. It is very important in order to connecting these factors that we must learn about what is the basic cause root behind this thing which I am showing you on here. Okay, it means Delhi Sultanate, how it was established, Mughal Empire, how it was established, Indian dynasties, what was their response, what was the causes, and all the other things. Okay, so basically, broadly, I'm speaking about the main factor, which is the origin of Islam. Okay, why it is relevant in the medieval history of India and how we will benefit by studying the origin of Islam in this thing. Okay, so basically, if we try to figure it out, Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal Empire was basically established by the Muslim leaders and the Muslim rulers, you can say. All right, even in Indian dynasties, we have several dynasties which of the Hindu or other religions, but mostly dynasties were of the Muslims during medieval time. Okay, so that's why if we want to understand these dynasties, we have to understand their origin and what was their political, economical, and social implications on the Indian structure. Okay, so we are going to talk about the origin of Islam. All right. So basically, whenever we talk about the origin of Islam, these are the several facts which we require to be covered. Okay, like origin of Islam. First, social scenario in the Islam, change in society over the period of time, what is their political structure, and how was their economy. If we are able to grasp all these factors together, then we will be able to connect their relation with the Indians, okay, and how the things were begin. All right, because we know India is having a significant Muslim population, Hindu population, and other religious population. So it's become very interesting to understand how the things evolved over the period of time. Okay, so let's start. So basically, in the topic of origin of Islam, we have to deal with 3 points. First point is for faith, second point is for community, and third point is for politics. Okay, however, the politics having the different structure. All right, here I'm just going to tell you about little bit of the politics involved during the origination. Okay, and this politics basically deal with the maturity part. It means when the Islam was evolved properly, then what was their political structure. But in the origin time, the political structure is basically the naived, or you can say initial. All right, so let's start. That is what we are going to cover. Origin, faith, polytheistic Arabs. Okay, In ancient Arabia, here basically we are talk about the Saudi Arabia. Okay, let me write down here. Saudi Arabia. Okay, and Saudi Arabia is what? Saudi Arabia is a country of Asian continent. Okay, and the rest of the Muslim countries who are speaking Arabs on Arabic, so these are the part of Arabian world or Arabic countries, like the country of Qatar, like the country of Saudi Arabia, like the country of UAE, okay, Bahrain and others. The countries who are speaking Arabs, they are known as the Arabian world countries or Arabic countries. Okay, so basically the origin of Islam having its grassroots lied in the ancient Arabia. Okay, the Arab society was organized into tribes or kabilas. Okay, mainly tribes or kabilas. It means they are in the segmented group of people they are the segmented group of people and also known as Banjaras. Okay, if you watch the old Bollywood movies, you must have come across this name, Banjaras. Okay, Banjaras means the nomadic people. It means the people who do not have a sufficient and a fixed place to live, and they usually move from one place to another in order of their livelihood or replacement of the places, you can say. Okay, so these were organized into tribes or kabilas, and each tribe had its own deity or goddess, which was venerated as an idol, which is known as the sanam, within a shrine called masjid. Okay, yeah, masjid you can say, and in English we called it mosque. Okay, so remember, here's one thing. Please, it's my humble request to all of you, kindly keep the words in your mind. Okay, the first is the Sanam world. Sanam world is basically used for what? Own deity of tribes. Okay, it means that there were tribes who had their own deities who were known as the Sanam. Okay, second was the Masjid, or you can call it as a mosque. Alright, what's the significance of masjid or mosque? Worshipping shrines. Alright, so remember this thing. First, Sanam was a idol which was having by each tribe. Second is a masjid, which is the worshipping place. Okay, while the polytheistic Arabs were somewhat aware of the concept of a supreme god named Allah, possibly influenced by the presence of Jewish and Christian tribes in their midst, their devotion to idols and shrines remained more immediate and profound. Okay, remember one thing. However, they had their own deity or god known as the Sanam, but they are well aware about the god name called Allah. Alright, which is the current god of Muslim society, you can say. Okay, so why it is? Because of the presence of Jewish and the Christians in their nearby. Okay, and they were also in the form of tribes. Alright, and their devotion to idols and shrines remained more immediate and profound. Got it? Let's move forward. Now, here we have the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, in the previous part, in the previous slide, basically we had learned about how was the ancient Arabia. Okay, now we are going to learn about the Prophet Muhammad. Also, he is known as the Pagambar. Okay, so in short, we can say is he was the messenger of God. So the word Pagambar here justify the messenger of gods, and it is also known as prophet. All right. So here we have Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca or Makkah. It is a city of Saudi Arabia. Okay, and it is still current in a Saudi Arabia. Okay, the year was 570 CE. Okay, and played a pivotal role in transforming Arabian society. All right, so remember, his name was Prophet Muhammad, was born in Mecca in the year of 570 CE, and he played a pivotal role in transforming Arabian society. Between 612 and 632 CE, Muhammad advocated the worship of one God, Allah, and aimed to establish a united community of believers called the Ummah, marking the birth of the Islamic faith. Okay, so basically what is happening here? Before the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, the Arabian society was divided into the tribes or the Kabilas. Each tribe had their own god to worship. Okay, and however, they are well aware about the name called Allah. Okay, so when the Prophet Muhammad born in 570 CE in the city of Makkah, okay, so after his birth, during the time period of 1612 to 1632, what he did, he basically convinced the people to worship only one God called Allah instead of worshipping many gods. Okay, and the community who follows his instruction, who follows his belief, was known as Ummah. Okay, and this was the birth of Islamic faith. Okay, because previously they were divided into the communities, they were worshipping different gods, but then Prophet Muhammad born, he convinced the people to worship only one God, which they call Allah, and the people who get convinced and who joined the community known as the Ummah. Okay, and this community later formed the Islamic world. Okay, around the year 612 CE, Muhammad declared himself as the messenger, Rasul of God, emphasizing the exclusive worship of Allah. Okay, so basically that was the year of 612 CE when Muhammad declared himself as a Pagambar or the messenger. Okay, or you can say Rasul of God. All right, and he convinced the people that the God want to worship only one God, whom we call Allah. Okay, whom we can call Allah. Got it? Thereafter, it was a 622 C. Due to increasing opposition and persecution in Makkah, Muhammad and his followers embarked on a significant journey to the city of Medina, known as the Hijrah. Okay, what happened this time? Basically, Muhammad was trying to convince the people that we should worship only one God and we should form a community which we call Ummah, because he said that God was sending him the message because he was the messenger. But suddenly, what happened? The other tribes, which were not a part of Ummah, they provided the opposition and the persecution to the Muhammad and his followers in the city of Makkah. Okay, after this, he had to left the Makkah and he moved to the Medina. And this particular movement from the city of Makkah to Medina is known as Hijrah. Okay, so remember, when the term come Hijrah and ask you about the significance, just remember during this time, Prophet Muhammad along with his followers left the city of Makkah and moved to the Medina. Why? I have told you, because the non-followers were giving him the challenge, so that he has to move away. Got it? This event marked a monumental turning point in the history of Islam and the beginning of the Islamic calendar, with the year of Muhammad's arrival in Medina serving as its starting point. Alright, the point of Hijrah is also the beginning of Islamic calendar. Okay, every religion having its own calendar, okay, as per their beliefs. So that's why, remember, Hijrah is basically the beginning of the Islamic calendar. Okay, so I hope these all points are cleared in your mind. Alright, now let's move forward. Okay, so right now we have the origin and faith before 12th AD. Okay, understand the points. Between 950 to 1200 AD, Islamic society's unity was not reliant on a single political authority or a uniform cultural language like Arabic. Instead, it was sustained through shared economic and cultural characteristics. Okay, like the society and the people, and you can say different tribes and kabilas which were living all together on the land of Arabia, they were not reliant and not united by any single political authority or a uniform cultural language like the Arabics. They having their own languages, they having their own cultures and other things, but how they got concentrated and integrated together because of the shared economic and the cultural characteristics. Because cultural means they have to wear the same clothes, they have to wear the they have to, you can say, take the same survival conditions, because they are looking and they are living on the Arabian island, not island, sorry, on the Arabian land, and thereafter they are sharing the same resources available to them. All right, so that's why remember this one. Okay, initially the Muslim population was less than 10% during the Umayyad era. What do you mean by Umayyad? We will learn in the political structure part. Okay, which was marked by the influential Quraysh tribe. Okay, over time there was a significant and substantial increase in the Muslim population. So remember, when there was a beginning of forming of the tribes or forming of the religion called the Muslim religion, basically the population which was following that belief was only 10%. Okay, but over the time, or you can say with the passage of time, their population started significant and substantial increase, and they are converted into a unified community called the Muslim population. All right, the distinctiveness of Islam as both a religious faith and a unique cultural system, distinct from other religions, became more prominent during this period. Okay, like as I have told you, they do not have a single political authority or uniform cultural language like Arabics. Okay, it means that they do not having any proper sense of unity. Okay, they were divided, but however they are living together because of the economic and the cultural characteristics. Okay, so what happened to make them identifiable or to make them distinguished from rest of the people? They started forming their community called the community of believers or Ummah. Okay, and this distinguishedness from other religions became more prominent during this period, means before 12th AD. All right, the growing distinctiveness contributed to the importance and feasibility of conversions to Islam, as it offered a clear and unique identity compared to other faiths. Okay, like suppose you are living in a mixture of society and you want yourself to be identified in a single and you can say in a unique way. Okay, so the community of Islam gives the opportunity, like if you get converted to Islam, you will join the community which is distinguished from rest of the community. All right, so that's why many people who were thinking the same get themselves converted into the Islam, so that they could have a unique and distinguished identity. All right. Now, after faith, we have the community. Okay. Or you can say basically, origin part is divided into three parts. As I had told you in the starting, first is faith, second is community, third is politics. Okay. It's the first part, second part, third part. Okay. I had already told you in the starting, but here I am just reminding you. Okay. So first is the objective. Objective of Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad aimed to establish a unified community of believers known as the Ummah based on the shared religious beliefs. Because before him, the community was divided into the various religions, various cultural identities. They were worshipping different gods. So when the Prophet Muhammad came into the picture, he tried to convince the people that we should only worship the one God whom we call Allah. Okay. And we will form a community of believers which we call Ummah. All right. And as we have seen, as the consequences of this, they had to left Makkah and move to Medina because the other tribes who do not want to get involved in this kind of things, they provided the opposition to him. All right. Thereafter, we have the testament to the religion. This community was intended to serve as a testament or shahada to the existence of the religion before God or in the eyes of other religious communities. Okay, it means rules and regulations to be followed so that they could have a unique identity and identical religion nature. Got it? Thereafter, we have resonance with Meccans. Okay, Muhammad's messages found resonance among the Meccans who felt marginalized in terms of economic opportunities and religious affiliations. This out a new sense of community identity through his teachings. Basically, what is happening here, let me tell you. There were various tribes or small groups of individuals on Arabic soil. Okay, some of them are strong, some of them are weak, and generally the weak ones were getting or got exploited because they do not have their common group, they do not have their common beliefs, they do not have their common culture. Okay, that's why they were feeling to get marginalized. Okay, and because they were a small group of people, they were weak, so that's why they had to be debarred from economic opportunities and the religious affiliation. Okay, so when they found the formation of Ummah or the Islamic community, which is getting stronger and stronger day by day, they found an opportunity to get themselves a community identity and economic interest. Okay, so because of this, various marginalized Meccans started to convert it into Islam or joining Islam. All right, now let's move forward. Thereafter, we have the Muslims and their assurance. Okay, those who embraced Muhammad's doctrine became known as Muslims. Okay, they were assured of salvation on the day of judgment, Qiyamah, and a share of our communal resources during their earthly lives. Okay, means those who followed Prophet Muhammad, they were assured that when there was a day of judgment or the Qiyamah, you can say when there was a end of life on earth. It means generally in all religions there is a quote which said that one day the earth was ended. Okay, and all the living beings were got dead or finished off, you can say. Okay, so various religions promises that if you follow that particular religion, you follow that particular god and teachings, and you obeyed their rules and regulations, then on the day of judgment, you can say, day of judgment, okay, you will get a salvation, or you will be saved by the god whom you worship throughout your life. Okay, similar thing was also promised in the Islam. Like if you are following the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, if you are worshipping Allah, and if you are part of the Muslim community, then when there will be a day of judgment or the Qiyamah, then on that day you will be the part of the salvation, or you will be saved by the God. All right, until then, means you are not God dying, and you are not going to face the day of judgment nearby, and you are living the earthly lives. During this time, you must have to maintain the sense of brotherhood, and you have to share your resources amongst yourself. Okay, communal resources during the earthly lives. All right, thereafter, opposition from wealthy Makkans. All right, however, the Muslim community soon faced significant opposition from wealthy Makkans who were offended by the rejection of their deities. They perceived the new religion as a challenge to the established status and prosperity of Makkah. As I have told you, when the Prophet Muhammad began his journey and trying to convince the people that you should worship Allah, must be a part of Ummah, and become a part of Muslim religion. So, in the starting, as I have told you, there were so many communities and kabilas which had their own gods. So, if you are going to worship Allah, if you are going to the part of Ummah, you are going to be the part of Muslim religion, definitely you will rejected the deities of that communities. Alright, okay. So that's why those wealthy Meccans were feeling offended, and they posed a challenge to the Prophet Muhammad, and because of this, Prophet Muhammad along with followers had to left Makkah and move to the Medina. Alright. Now, the third part is the polity. We had finished the faith, we had finished the community, now it's the polity. Okay, first is the transfer of political authority. After the death of Prophet Muhammad in 632 AD, political authority was transferred to the Ummah, the Muslim community, without any established succession plan in place. Okay, it means Prophet Muhammad said that there will be a no higher after me. Okay, he did not declare anyone to his higher. Alright, so when he got died, so his entire powers transferred to the Ummah. Okay, thereafter, opportunities and divisions. This transition created opportunities for new developments, but it is also resulted in significant divisions within the Muslim communities, as there was no clear leader or authority in charge. Because the Prophet Muhammad said that no one will be the higher next to me after my death. Okay, this creates the vacuum amongst the leadership of the newly found Muslim community. Okay, thereafter, we have establishment of the caliphate. One significant innovation during this period was the creation of the institution of the caliphate. In this system, the leader of the Muslim community held the title of Amir al-Mu'min, okay, or commander of the faithful, and assumed the role of the Prophet's deputy, referred to as the Khalifa. It means that was the chain. Okay, first was Allah, second was Prophet Muhammad, and because no one was allowed to take the position of Prophet Muhammad, so that's why they had the deputy commander, also known as Khalifa. Okay, so because no one is allowed to take the position of Prophet Muhammad, but they could act as the Prophet's deputy. Okay, so that they could manage the newly formed establishment. Okay, objectives of the Caliphate. The Caliphate served two primary objectives. The first one was aim to maintain control over the various tribes and groups that constituted the Ummah, ensuring unity and stability within the Muslim community. It means had to grasp the tribes which joined the Ummah. Do not let them leave. Okay. Second, it sought to mobilize resources for the state, supporting its function and growth. It means administer the society and the economic structures. Okay. Thereafter, we have the responsibilities of the Khalifas. The Khalifas, as leader of the Caliphate, had core responsibility focused on safeguarding and promoting the Islamic faith from the other communities. This included protecting the community, spreading the teachings of Islam, and ensuring the welfare of the Muslim population. Alright, so students, basically with this we had finished the origin part. Okay, in the next lecture we will begin with the other parts. Till then, just revise all the facts and figures we had discussed in this lecture and be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture and thank you.